Hello and welcome to On the Move. We are Matt and Betsy, and we are moving out of winter and into spring. It is March break around here because our girls are in the public system and I teach as well. So we're taking some time to enjoy the change in season. But first we thought we'd tell you a little bit about a place that we adventured actually more when there was more snow on the ground. It's starting to melt a bit
for sure.
here. But we'd like to tell you today about the Selkirk walking trails, which are not far from us at all.
No, just down the road. What's your favorite line you always use? Down the street,
down the street and around the corner. Although it's not a street really here.
It's now down the road and around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime our girls ask us, I don't know, just random questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes as parents, you get a little lazy. You get a lot of questions asked, so you come up with some standard answers.
Yeah.
So
where is this? Where are we going? Where is this? Oh, it's down the road and around the corner.
Yeah. But this literally is.
Yeah.
So we went, the first time we went to find it, we were just told about it by a friend, so we weren't exactly sure where we were going or whether it was marked or not. I'm still not sure whether we actually found the trail that she was on. Regardless, we found this one and we've come to like it.
It's nice. We'll tell you about it.
Yeah. So driving down the road, kind of just watching, and you're seeing different lanes and different paths leading into the woods and just wondering, is this it? Is this it? And then we came upon this one, which was very well marked by a great sign. And you did a little bit of research into exactly who supports it.
So it's owned by a not-for-profit organization called Island Trails here on Prince Edward Island. I think they manage a number of trails, but this is the only one that we've discovered so far.
Yeah, in our close to our home.
So you can choose to be a member if you want to, pay a yearly fee, or I think you can even have a lifetime membership too. It's fairly inexpensive.
Now, is that just, sorry, I didn't do the reading, so is that just like in support of the maintenance of the trails and such?
Yes, because they do a fair bit of marking and clearing of brush and things for you to maintain it so that they are easy to use.
A lot of our, what we would call forests or woods around here are fairly mixed, but a significant amount of it would be not deciduous, the other one, coniferous, pines, cedars, that sort of thing.
A lot of underbrush, very thick.
Yeah. And so any kind of trail that you have does require some fairly regular maintenance, because you'll get a lot of stuff that will just overgrow onto your trail, or trees coming right down and stuff. We even ran into a few of those when we were on the trail. So.
Yes, yeah. And so what I really appreciate about this section here is there are a number of loops in it. So instead of having to walk and then decide, oh, how far am I going to walk before I have to turn around and go backwards, you can do a whole circuit. And none of them are terribly long. I think if you do the biggest loop, it's about 5 kilometers. Smaller ones can be under a kilometer worth. So to start out with, to get our girls into it,
we had no idea where we were going and how long exactly these were.
So we started with a small one and then progressively went bigger and bigger from there.
Yeah, the first day we did the shortest loop and realized, oh, the dogs hardly got a walk. We can hardly call that a workout. So we said, next time we come, girls, you need to be prepared that we're going to do a longer trek. And then we even put a few together. I think we put a few different pieces together and still managed to find quite a loop, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, and there's nice. It's actually part of, or I guess it technically would be the beginning of the Montague River. Comes through there as well, so that's beautiful. There's a whole hemlock grove in there. I think at one point this area was reforested. It might have been farmland or cut down at some point, so you can see areas where they've specifically planted things. But really nice. And we could see that it was well used too. We went in there with our snowshoes and we saw a bunch of other people who had done the same.
Which is nice, because then you get like a packed trail. Mm-hmm. So at one point you crossed over the river, or what the size of it that I would call it would be a creek at this point. But you get like a packed down snow trail. So it just makes it a little bit easier to trek around and through there. And we definitely notice if you step to the side of the trodden path, you would definitely sink significantly more. So that was also just fun and adventurous for our girls, a little scary for our senior dog. I start to get nervous about her breaking a leg in that kind of stuff, but she was fine. She came out all good. She just got a little bit more cautious and took her time feeling her way a bit more.
The first loop that we did, the smallest one, we didn't quite understand the signs, and we're following the arrows, and there's an arrow that points, okay, go this way. So I turn, and you can't really see a trail, and not a lot of people had used it that day. We'd had fresh snowfall. So I thought, well, I'm just going to walk this way and watch for markers. Turns out we missed the trail entirely and just went bushwhacking through. So we retraced it from another direction. We're like, oh, that was actually what the trail should have been.
Yeah. So we've done probably maybe a third of what we think is marked out there.
Yeah.
We definitely want to head back. I think it's for sure it's open a year-round thing.
Yeah.
So we want to head back and check it out. Bug season is coming. Also comes with sort of
and
late
mud
spring,
season.
bug and mud.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how sort of buggy it is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely it'll be beautiful in the fall when the cool weather returns again.
Yes.
So we'll be checking that out for sure, and we encourage you to as well.
Yeah. And now that we're at this time now where snow is melting, so we've hit that magical time of year where it's frozen at night, but then it is like +1, +2, maybe up to +5 degrees Celsius during the day. And that, what we've learned, actually, I learned this first from your dad.
Yeah, we've known this for a while, but it's the same out here as it is back home. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, the maple trees work the same way no matter where they are.
Exactly.
This is maple syrup season.
Yay!
Yeah. I don't think we've seen any fresh crop available yet, but it's going to be coming.
So I'm going to assume that we may have at least one individual watching who maybe doesn't understand the whole maple syrup process. So in the very early spring, where Matthew was saying you need the nights to be below freezing and the days to be above freezing, which is actually what causes the sap to flow in the tree. So what's happening is the sap is actually heading up the tree to help it to grow leaves and be ready for the summer. So by tapping the tree, you put a little tube into the tree if you're doing it old school style, and you take some of that sap out, which is just a very sweet water if you've never tasted it. I think you can actually buy maple water.
Yeah, for a while they were doing a run of it. I don't know if it really caught on though.
I don't think so. It's just a very sweet water is what I would taste like.
Yeah.
But what they do then is they put it on heat and boil it just to very exact temperatures that they want, and then it thickens and you get this very delicious syrup. So you can do it kind of old school by hand. Most bigger processing areas would use tubing and all kinds of things, and it's a little bit complex. But you can sometimes take tours, and I think there are some around here.
Yeah, I think we've sourced one. I think it's the same place.
Same place. We went
if you've watched our apple picking, I think it's the same place. We haven't yet. I've been watching to see when they announce that they've actually got syrup available. It's not yet, but I think it's coming.
It's coming, and we will head there and get some. We usually try to get at least one fresh batch a year, and then we savor that throughout, because it's not the most inexpensive stuff, but that has to do with the process of collecting it and making it. It's quite extensive. So along with that also comes with these cold nights and these warm days, one of my favorite little things in nature, which some might think is kind of silly, but I really like it. So in the day, you'll end up with these puddles because the snow has melted a bit. So anywhere that there's a divot or whatever, the water will collect, and you'll get just, not deep puddles, but shallow puddles that will sit as water for the day. And then the temperature drops quickly because you're just hovering at that melting point. And so then you get this thin little layer of ice on top of these puddles that continue to drain afterwards. So then you have these little bits of ice, a gap of air, and then the ground. And those are fantastic to step on.
We've been walking the dogs every morning. March break,
yeah.
I'm able to go out with her.
And that's when you have to catch them early morning, because otherwise they'll defrost and be water again by the time the afternoon rolls around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we put together a little compilation of it here so you can hear her crunch.
It's just one of those sounds that are, to me, super satisfying, because if you actually hear the sound of breaking glass in real life, it's disturbing, it's unsettling, something has gone wrong. But this is an area where I can enjoy this sound that I really like without having to be concerned about actually breaking anything.
When I was younger and was working at camps, we'd do winter camps, and the one camp I worked at, the lake would freeze, at least in the bay that we were in. And so you go out there, and if you lay down on the ice, she would never do this.
No.
If you lay down on the ice, you can hear it moving and shifting, and it's kind of like that sound, only on a deeper
No,
resonance.
no. I do not do open water ice. Mm-mm.
No pond skating.
No,
pond
I
hockey for
did
you.
pond skating a little bit when I was younger, but that is not my thing. I do not feel. I know people check the ice and they say, "Oh, it'll be safe," but especially around a winter that you're getting freeze and thaw. No, thank you. I'm just happy to skate on an arena rink where I know it's just ground below me.
So we're coming up to a season of new life, new growth, more sunlight, daylight savings we're into
yes,
now.
That's right.
Yeah, you like that?
I do. So daylight savings, we may have mentioned it in the fall. So what you do in the fall is it shifts, the time shifts by an hour. You fall back, I think is how I would try to remember it. And then in the spring again, it comes around, and so you move the clocks ahead an hour. So it allows you to have a little bit more daylight into the evening. So you really only notice the difference for about a week or two, especially around dinner time. So we may have been eating dinner in the dark, and then suddenly the very next day you're eating at the same time, but it's still daylight out because we've just shifted the clock by an hour. It does mean mornings are a little bit darker, so Matthew might see a few more sunrises as he leaves again. But again, it changes so fast because then the days just get longer all around on both ends as the sun does its shift in course. So.
Interestingly enough, I read a news article this morning that the Senate in the United States doesn't actually have to do with us. But anyways, the Senate of the United States has done the initial passing unanimously that they're going to go to daylight savings all the time.
So they're just sticking with one of the times.
Yeah, one of the time. Like our summertime, they're going to stick with that across the country all the time. It still has to pass a couple more resolutions, but it sounds like they're going that way. So maybe we'll.
Well, I know there's definitely been talk about it over the last several years, and there
may
even be a province or two that doesn't do daylight.
Actually, out west.
Yeah. So anyway, we enjoy this little moment in the fall and the spring here still, but that may change in the future. So all around things are starting. I would say spring so far is coming in gently. Officially has not arrived and will not arrive till the 21st of March. But we're getting like some bright light sunlight days. We haven't got a lot of rain, which I'm okay with, but I think that will probably come with April.
Yes.
If things are traditional. April showers bring May flowers and bugs. So as you can see, I'm not a fan of bug season. But yeah, all around, we're looking forward to that shift, longer, brighter days, being outside more often, not having to bundle up quite so much, and hopefully no more snow days. But we also must not be deceived. These first few days of sun are not a guarantee that winter is over. There still could very easily be another snowstorm.
Yeah, absolutely. So next time we see you, it will be springtime. We hope that you're gearing up for it as well. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.